G.H. Mead. First of all, we have to see the book of Mead. Actually, the book Mind, Self, and Society is a book by Merton Students based on his ideas. Now, Mead defined himself as a social behaviorist by looking at actors' behavior. His focus was on understanding the mind. That's why he was called social behaviorist. Now, coming to his theory consists of two parts. First part is the different stages that a human being goes through during socialization and during the development of his personality. And the second part is the difference between mind, the difference between me, self, and I. Now, according to me, the most elementary unit, which he called the primitive unit, is the act where he talks about stimuli coming from outside. And now, human beings can conceive the stimulus as an opportunity to act and not as a mandate or compulsion. While, if we compare with positivism, what was there with positivism is that strict principles like whatever is going to happen will happen in society. So, and it was not individual centric, while interpretative methodology is individual centric. Now, human behavior differs from animal behavior. This is because it is not automated thinking response. Like in animals, it's automated, but humans, it is not. Now, this act involves four stages. First one is impulse, second one is perception, third is manipulation, and finally, consummation. Impulse. Impulse is the income response and that created need to do something about it. Let's take an example. Let's say I am going uh, going to somewhere and I'm taking a stroll on the street. So a nearby house is cooking chicken. So I'll get that smell. Now that is an impulse, right? Then second stage is perception. Perception is immediate reaction to the stimuli, incoming stimuli, as well as mental images it creates. And humans not necessarily respond to all stimuli. Now, when I will get that smell, the first thing that will come to my mind is that image of all the chicken dishes that I had, okay? All the tasty dishes. Now, third one is manipulation, taking action about it or doing something about it. So, what I can do is either I can go and trespass my neighbor's house and ask them to like give me little of the chicken curry they are making, or else I can go to market and buy myself some chicken and bring home and cook for myself. Then fourth one is consummation. Consummation is the satisfaction of the impulse by which original stimuli and effect of that is satisfied. Now, after coming back to home, I cooked and had the chicken, so I am now satisfied. That impulse that I had, that smell that I had, that impulse which I had in the beginning, it is satisfied now. So these are the four stages of the act. What act? How human beings act to stimuli in the society. Now, social act involves gestures, and without gesture, we can't call it even social act. So, and at the same time, both humans and animals can participate in social act. Social act, in short, is the conversation of gestures, and one gesture for one organism, and his how he deals with the stimuli works as gesture for someone else. Now, gestures only human can make, and those are called significant symbols. Okay, significant symbols like languages. Next, see, um, significant symbols make the mind possible. It is only through significant symbols that thinking is possible. Okay, without significant symbols, mind is not possible. Now, what is mind? Mind is the inner conversation with oneself, and it arises and develops within the social process, and it is an integral part of the process. Society or social process precedes the mind. It is by being a part of the society we develop a mind. Then comes self. Another aspect of human personality fundamentally connected to the mind is self. Selfhood is the peculiar ability of the human beings to look at themselves as an object. Thus, one becomes both the subject and the object and define oneself in a certain way. Lower animals do not have self, nor do children at birth. Why? Why children don't have self? This is because um, self is the ability of human beings to look at themselves as an object. Now, babies don't have that right, infants. Self is developed only by being a part of the society. Self develops along with the process of biological maturation and when we develop an imaginative behavior. Now, how me is different from self? Me is socially shaped part of our personality. While self has many dimensions, but that part of the self that is shaped on the basis of others' expectations is me. But me is not all that human personality consists of because another part is I. So I behavior is spontaneous and things by which we surprise ourselves. So this is our unique identity that we fulfill when we realize ourselves. Now, I is responsible for conflict and change in society because me is commonly societal norm, right? I also leads to social evolution, and in simple societies, me is more dominant. Now comes the different stages, okay? How socialization happens. The first one is the play stage. Play stage is when children imitate and learn to take the attitude of others to themselves by playing and being someone else. Then second stage is the game stage. So game stage is a stage of imaginative learning. A child can imaginatively place himself in place of others. The first one, the play stage, is the role play stage. And the second stage is not role play per se, but they can now imagine themselves to be someone else. Okay? Let me give an example. Say in the play stage, children play, like few kids are playing, and they are taking different roles, right? So the girl will take the role of cooking, the boy will take the role of driving a car or going out to like purchase materials from market. So this is the play stage when the kids are imitating their elders. Then comes the mm, play stage. So what happens in play stage is children are not organized self. They lack personality. With game stage, personality and organization develops. A personality starts to emerge. So now, without playing, also they can imagine themselves as taking the roles. So that is what it is with Mead's theory of self, me, and I. Let me summarize it again. Self is mm, it's like me is a part of self. Self develops over the time, biological evolution, and that's why kids don't have self. self is the power to imagine oneself as an object through the eyes of other people. And me is more of societal norms. Me is shaped on the basis of others' expectations. And finally, I is spontaneous and I is unique.